So we've been waiting for it for quite a while. They've been talking about this remake, and we finally got it today. So let's check out the newest trailer for RE Welcome to Raccoon City. Fucking terrible name, by the way. Alright, so they just dropped the trailer to Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, the reboot for Resident Evil. And even though I think that name, Welcome to Raccoon City, is pretty shit, let's check out this trailer because, yeah, it comes out November 24th apparently, which is just over a month away. So that's kind of weird that they would be releasing a trailer just a little over a month before the movie comes out. That's a little odd. I'm gonna say pandemic maybe. I don't know. But oh, also sorry about the mic. My other mic is still in storage, so I'm using this for now for these types of deals. So sorry about the shit audio quality. Let's jump into this thing real quick.
Every
All right.
story has a beginning. Discover the origin of evil.
Okay, so we're going back to the original timeline in
Why are you
'98.
back here, Claire? Your conspiracies weren't true when we were kids. They're not true
Claire.
We need to expose
Claire's for
Umbrella.
part 2. No. Yeah.
Watch this.
Jill's part
I'm
1.
afraid, Claire. I'm afraid of what they're gonna do to this town.
Is that supposed to be Chris?
Umbrella, they had an incident. I'm talking Chernobyl, if you know what I mean. People are getting sick.
Oh, that's for part 2. So this is like a mix of part 1 and part 2.
You gotta help us, Claire.
I don't know about that CGI effect of that truck, but that's from part 2. So is this more of a... I thought it was more part 1. Okay, cool.
We have to contain this.
Is that 4-9 Blondes?
Shall we go?
Is that supposed to be Leon? I think so. Hey, whatever. It's an adaptation, right?
What were Umbrella doing?
Alright,
This is where
so...
you're experimenting on him.
I like the... Oh, there's the Spencer Mansion. So is it part 1 or part 2? Now where's Wesker? Is that Wesker? Uh-oh. Well, there went the mansion. Oh, here's the iconic thing. That's from part 1. What'd that say?
We gotta get out of here.
That's definitely Leon. So we know Leon and Claire, and I'm pretty sure that was Chris.
We're gonna take Umbrella down.
Is Jill in there? Ooh, I don't know about that liquor CGI. Alright, so there's the trailer for that we've all been waiting for, and honestly, I don't know how I feel about that, because I got a lot of questions. Let's see, first of all, I guess before we get into what I thought of the actual trailer itself, just what is this supposed to be adapting? Adapting, yeah, that's the right word. Is because I had heard that it was supposed to be going back to the Resident Evil roots of like the games and following the games very closely. Which me myself, if you've watched my channel at all, you know that I don't mind that when adaptations stray a bit from the canon. Like the original Resident Evil movies, the 6 of them, they were hit or miss, but I'm one of the few people that I'm okay with those. I don't mind them as much as some people. But I understand that they're just adaptations of the games. But if they're claiming that they're going to go back to the roots of the actual game series, and that's fine, cool. I mean, I have my issues with like straight up, if you will, page to screen adaptations. I can't say that word today. Of a game, because sometimes what works in a game doesn't always work in a movie. But I think it could be done. It could definitely be done. There's some story there, and I mean, based on what I saw a moment ago, the look of it looked okay, but they're honestly there's a lot of homages there to the original first and second game. Definitely the first and second game. But that's where I'm at. Is I'm like, which one is it? Is it adapting part one or part two, or it looks like I guess both? Because they're two very, I mean, they're similar games, but the story of them is very different. And however long this movie is, an hour and a half, 2 hours, I doubt it's going to be more than 2 hours by much, if any. There's no way they could tell that entire story because it really looks like it's a melding of the two. Which, I mean, knowing what I know, because I've played these games since they came out, knowing what I know about RE1 and RE2, the games, if they're sticking real like close to the lore, well, part two couldn't have happened until after part one because the outbreak started in part one, and then that's why the city, Raccoon City, went to shit. But they're showing Raccoon City already and shit. Unless the first half of the movie's in the mansion and then the second half is in the city. I don't know. And of course, Leon, he didn't arrive until the beginning of part two. But you know, I'm kind of nerding out a bit there. I'm okay with them changing a few things. I'm just kind of confused. I don't want it to feel rushed. That's a fear I have, is that it's gonna feel like they're rushing the whole thing and just trying to pack in as much RE stuff as possible. I do know that the filmmakers talked about how when Resident Evil 2 remake came out a few years ago, they loved that the feel and everything, and they said, "Oh, that's we want to follow that template of like how that looks," and that's fine. That was a great game and had a great aesthetic. But I'm wondering if that's why all the part two stuff is in there. They're trying to like follow too closely to that. I don't know. I mean, I guess we won't know. I'll remain cautiously optimistic. Now, as far as everything else that was in the trailer, the CGI didn't look terrible, but it didn't look great. Honestly, it looked pretty much in line with the later Resident Evil, the Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evil films. And I know those are much maligned. Some people love them, some people hate them. I like most of them. I fucking hated the last one, but I like most of them. But I will say that the special effects of like the liquor, where it showed it jump down off of the ceiling in that one part, that is very much, and the dog and everything. It's a different looking. The dog looks a bit different than those movies did, but it's still a similar effect. And it looks like they have a decent amount of practical effects going on, which I do like. But I did see quite a bit of CGI as well. And the original movies, when they would go further into the practical side of things, they were really good. When they started to try and dabble too much in CGI, that's when they really started to show their age and kind of, oh, okay, yeah, that's not so great. Later movies had better CGI, of course, as they went into like 2017, I think is when the last one came out. And before that, 2014, 15, I don't know. There was a long gap there. But either way, these effects didn't look tremendously better than that. There were a couple of wonky effects, like when that truck, that was a direct scene from part two, where the truck falls over in front of the police station. That looked a little, suspect. But I mean, maybe it's not a complete effect. I find that hard to believe, seeing as how this movie comes out in a little over a month and a half. So typically, this close to release, movies are pretty much done, if not more or less done. So I doubt that we're going to get a tremendously different looking film from what we've got, what we see here. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm a big Resident Evil fan, and I do enjoy the other movies, but I also, you can check out I've reviewed every one of them in my video game movie review series. You can see my thoughts on those. I absolutely acknowledge that they weren't fantastic movies. They weren't good movies, but some of them were fun movies. I was able to look at them and just understand they're popcorn, dumb fun, just have a good time with them. These look like they are, and according to what the filmmakers say, they're going more into the old school lore, and I can appreciate that. I'm just hoping, because I saw a whole lot of fan service in that trailer. But really, the trailer didn't get me super excited. I mean, I look at it and I'm like, I see a lot of familiar stuff, but that's not what I really want out of an adaptation. Because I don't want to see the exact same story I've already played God knows how many times. Those first two games I've played more than any of the other games in the series. I know that story, so I want to see. I don't mind seeing a similar story and seeing things from those games, but I do want to see something new because if I'm going to just be sitting there knowing exactly what's going to happen every scene, what's the point of me going to see the movie? I've already experienced that story. So I am hoping I'm somewhat I'm wondering what this story is going to be and how they are melding the first game and the second game together. I doubt very much they're going to have all the detail from either of those games in this movie, which is fine. It's an adaptation, but I'm just wondering how are they going to meld both those stories together? Why not just stick with one? Why not just start with the first one? It's a traditional haunted house, haunted mansion story. Just go with that, and then if it's do that really well, and then if it's successful, go and make the second one. If you want to stick to the games, do that. Stick to the games, and make part two, which is much more action oriented than the first one. It's kind of like Alien in that way. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like that's what they're doing here. This does seem very action oriented and not as much horror, which is okay. I mean, if it works, it works. But I'm yet to be convinced that it works or not. But I am cautiously optimistic. I'm a big Resident Evil fan. I'm not the type of fan who sees something and it's not exactly what the original was. So I hate it. No, I mean if it's a fun, entertaining movie, it doesn't have to be an Oscar award winning film. As long as it's fun, that's all I'm really looking for out of this thing. So whether we'll get that or not, I don't know. We'll find out in a little over a month. November 24th, I'll definitely be there to see it and give you guys a review and my reaction. Odd choice of music for it too, by the way. I said Hey, or whatever the name of it is. Was it Four Non Blondes, I think. I guess it worked, but it is that whole thing of taking like popular songs from back in the day and like having a more of a somber, melancholy version of them put up in a trailer. I don't know what that has to do with Resident Evil, but whatever. I'm nitpicking at this point, I guess. Everything else, I mean, the trailer looked fine, I guess. It's whatever. It's fine. I feel like the trailer to this thing really fits the overall narrative of the making of this movie. They talked about it. It really wasn't really that big of a deal. Yeah, we heard about it, and we're like, oh, yeah, it's coming at some point. It got made. Didn't really hear much about it. Every now and then we get some pictures or something, and then it just shows up one day, and hey, it's done. And I feel like I don't know how well this movie's gonna do. I think this movie, it could either come out the gate swinging and just be like a huge hit, or really just crash and burn. Which I guess that's any movie, but you know what I mean with this one. It doesn't seem like it has a whole lot of hype. And I don't feel like this trailer does it any favors. Some people are probably gonna love the trailer, especially with all the things from the movies or from the games, all the homages and fan service. But that kind of stuff scares me sometimes because I see all that fan service. I'm like, is that all it's gonna be? Because I love fan service, but I need something more to my film as well. I don't want it to be only fan service, but we'll see in a little over a month and a half, I guess. I'm, as I said, cautiously optimistic, and I hope it is good because I never want to go see a movie that's shit because that's a waste of my fucking time and money. But anyway, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of this thing, and how about the design of the characters? I didn't really get into that because, I mean, they're actors. It's more of their performance-wise. Are you more concerned with finding someone who looks exactly like someone from the original source material, or someone who can actually put on a good performance? Me myself, I'd rather have a good performance than someone who looks exactly like him. And I could look at that character and say, "Hey, that's Leon. Is he blonde-haired and with the whole hair thing and all that?" No, he's just his face and everything looks very different from what Leon was. But I could tell that was Leon. I could tell that was Claire. Maybe Jill. I don't know. I think she's on the poster. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't know. Is she on the poster? Yeah, she's on the poster over there. So she must be in the movie. Jill and Chris Redfield. I mean, Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, and Claire Redfield, and of course Leon Kennedy. I guess they're all in the movie. So, hey, lots of good shit if you're a Resident Evil fan. But we'll find out here soon. Alright, if you guys liked it, hit the like and subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Check out my Patreon if you want to help out the channel. All that good stuff that YouTubers say, hey, go do this. Go do all that. And I will see you guys in the next one.